so we also can close the gap between the corporate or the enterprise side and the startup. But once you are there, you know, it's so passionate, you feel the energy, you don't want to go away from that. So I started to go deep, and then I became not only investor, but entrepreneur. And I thought, if I'm here, I have to do something positive for everyone, so not only for me. If you do to a social networking, that's where really, really potential possibilities will find, because it's more different people mixing, and there is where opportunities happen.
You think women do less networking?
Yes, I think they do, or used to do less networking. However, I say it's changing, and what it's increasing is the networking among women networks.
Good day to everyone. This is Innmind channel with the best first-hand information for startup founders and tech entrepreneurs. And today we want to raise the new topic for our channel, but not the new one for the business circles in Europe and worldwide. The topic of women leadership in the business world, in venture capital world, and of course in the tech world of startups. And today our guest is one of the most influential women in Spain, who was named among 100 most influential women in Spain and among 30 tech people to follow on Twitter by Business Insider. She's serial entrepreneur and investor. She is also the member of the governing body of Barcelona Tech City and non-executive director of Pau Capital. Meet Helena Torras. Hi, Helena.
Hi, Nelly. How are you? I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Helena, it's an honor to have you among our guests. Thanks a lot for accepting an invite. And my first question is, how do you actually became the leader and the role model for so many women in the entrepreneurship world? I read a lot of articles about you, a lot of interviews of you, and you definitely are one of the most recognized women to follow among startups and venture capital investors.
Wow, that pressures me. No, but thank you. So I started on the tech world or the startup world 12 years ago. But before, I was completely analogical. I was the CEO of a completely traditional company. And just as I started as a small investor in the tech world, because we had with some friends curiosity of what is it about, let's try it. Best way to learn things is just walking, trying. So we started as business angels in this startup world, but once you are there, you know, it's so passionate, you feel the energy, you don't want to go away from that. So I started to go deep, and then I became not only investor, but entrepreneur. And I thought, if I'm here, I have to do something positive for everyone, so not only for me.
That's amazing to hear. And I'm also fascinated about your positive approach, as we discussed previously. Usually, why we did not touch this topic previously, because when it comes to the discussion of the gender questions, in the business world, yeah, definitely VC and startup and tech world is still the world of men. And I experience it myself when I am, for example, the only woman in the big conference or round table or whatever. But usually when we start discussing these things in Switzerland or other countries, it raises some suspicious negative effect or shadow, like let's do it 50-50 equal without any specific adequate reasons or some clear understanding why it should be so. And you are very different from that approach. You are so positive and inclusive. You don't say that there should be equal amount, irrespective of what. Your approach is like women should be inspired, but not controversial to men. So how do you keep on this path?
Yeah, the thing is, when I started, I was the only woman there. And I was thinking, why is that? But at the end, what happens on the startup ecosystem is the same that happens in the business world, in all the surroundings. So we come from where we come and we are where we are. And we are changing that path. The thing here is how we change it. I've known, and I know every single day, so many talented women entrepreneur, women investor, women directors, women non-executive, but no one knows them. They are like hidden. So let's put them visible. Let's make them visible. Let's let everyone know them. And then when you know everyone who has a talent, just choose the best one. It doesn't matter if it's men or women, but at least have the choice between both of them, not only with one group. What I'm saying is, it's not bad to be a woman. It's great. I mean, people is looking now, let's increase the women in tech quota, let's whatever. So there's a side there. However, I really think let's look for the best talent. But what I really force is, when you are choosing the best one, make sure that before that, you have all the best talent to choose, not just one part. And that's it. I really think that there is good talent both in men and women. I have a boy and I have a girl. So I want the best for them, for both of us, not only for one. And life is better when we have diversity. So it's not only about us, it's about all together creating a better world.
Yeah, that sounds like absolutely true. But how do you think, speaking about increasing quotas or increasing the diversity in the startup teams or in venture capital segments, what is the best way to increase it and to inspire people, for example, hiring talented women and pay more attention to female specialists, professional. I think that just making quotas, quantitative quotas is really not the best way, because then they start ignoring the other side and looking not just on the talents, but also on the gender more specifically.
Yeah, it's a controversial point, and I have to say that when I started, I was completely against quota. I want to be there because of my talent. I don't want to be there because of the quota. But in one conference, one person I admire, she said, look, I would not be there if it was not for the quota. But what I did when I arrived, I demonstrated I was best. And she, 10 years after, is still there. So sometimes it's the way to reach. What I'm in favor of the quotas on the, not on the final, but on the step before the final. Let's make sure what I told you before, that you have all the best talent. What I really believe is to force people to look farther than they would do. So don't stay with the easiest thing. Do you know someone for this job? Oh yes, this one, this one, this one. Oh, there are 3 names and there are 3 boys. Let's look further. Let's have 6 names, 3 boys and 3 girls. And then choose the best one. I don't mind, but make the effort to look really for the best talent, because we have really a problem of visibility and from networking. Women don't do as much networking as men do. Although it's changing. We are making our networks and all these things, so we are starting to move more, but it's true that generally women do less networking, and most of the jobs, most of the things you find, it's asking someone, do you know someone that does something? And if you are not there, they will not mention you.
You think women do less networking?
Yes, I think they do, or used to do less networking. However, I say it's changing, and what it's increasing is the networking among women networks. But the good networking is diverse networks, because the opportunities are when you get diverse. But that's something I'm not invented. I mean, it has been said always. If you do to a job networking, and I'm not talking about women or men, you might find a professional possibility. If you do to a social networking, that's where really potential possibilities will find, because it's more different people mixing, and there is where opportunities happen. When everyone is meeting, have the same profile, looking for the same things, the same goals, it's more difficult. So if you extrapolate that to women and men, that's the same. As more diverse are the groups, better is the networking.
Helena, I'm sure you've read one of the reports in the Harvard Business Review when they analyzed the decision-making by venture investors when they tested, when the startup pitched the idea, and there was the men pitching and the woman pitching. And even if they did not see the picture, so they just heard the voice, the man voice and the woman voice. The majority of investors were tempting to be more positive towards men's pitching against women's one, without any reasons, because pitch was exactly the same and the text was the same and everything was the same. So it was quite, I think, popular article in HBR. How do you think, does this situation exist in Europe? Because they were analyzing mostly American investors, if I remember correctly, and how it evolves during time in nowadays. Does it exist?
I think I've read that and also listened to TEDx from the Columbia study, where they say also the questions are different to men and to women. And since I listened to that, I started like looking to check if that really happens. And what I realized is that sometimes it happened even for me as an investor. So it's really an unconscious bias. So now that I've detected, I can change this behavior. So, and as an entrepreneur, what I have to tell you, Europe and the times I've gone to US, it's true that I see a difference, but I've been super good treated. So really full respect, full interest on what I was doing. What I have to say, what changed is when what I'm doing is something that my target market are women. That's when they change, because they don't understand as much, because they are men and they don't feel the empathy with the product, the service that I'm offering, and they don't understand really the need. So they have to ask other women. But wanting to listen, no problem. So they really were keen to open. Other thing is, one, I've listened to you how the process goes, and if it closes, that's another thing. But at least they were open. So I think my experience is very good. I cannot say anything against investors because they really treat me very well as an entrepreneur. What I can say as investor, I realized there is an unconscious bias that if we realize, we are able to change.
And how do you think, what are the other ways to avoid this bias? I mean, some investors, they are talking about data-driven approach. When they focus on numbers and try not to care so much about pitch at all, digging to the numbers while making due diligence. Will it really help?
I don't agree so much on that, especially for the pre-seed, seed stage, or even early stage. That's because at the end, at that moment, there are not so many numbers. It's the energy, the passion, the vision of the entrepreneurs, all the team, the founders, that will make a change and that will make the company different. So when you don't have data, what are you looking for? Of course, if you're on Series B, focus on the numbers. That's okay. That's already a company that has to scale, and we are looking for different things. But when you are on pre-seed, seed, early stage, I mean, this is different. It's the team who will make it happen. What I think it can be done to change really what is bias, it's focus on what are the questions you would ask to anyone, and make first these questions. The second thing is, I really think that women doesn't show the ambition as much as the men. I'm not saying they don't have the ambition. Women have the ambition, but what they show is what they really know they can achieve, not where they really want to go. And when you start trying to make the answers, you know now where they want to go, but you have to push and make more questions to them than you would do to a man that they will say it immediately. And that's because how we are. And we have to force ourselves to say, I will say I want to be the leader of whatever, even I don't know how to do it. I only know how to go to half of the road. But you have to say where it's the aim you want to go. And that's character of how women are. We have some good things and others that we can improve. And men have also good things and others that can improve. Let's take the best of each and make ourselves better.
It sounds great. And speaking about making better, you really do what you say. I mean, you also made this group in WhatsApp, group of women investors and entrepreneurs. You call it We Rock or Women Rock?
Yeah. We rock. That's our logo. We rock capital. That's how we are, because we rock. We help women entrepreneurs to get funding on pre-seed stage. We try to increase the number of women investors. Most of the people that belongs to We Rock Capital come from the traditional sector, so they are learning by doing, learning by investing, how the startup. So we also can close the gap between the corporate or the enterprise side and the startup, because we are uniting both of the walls. And then that's it. And we invest, we change the numbers, and we are now 60 people and probably growing. And it was born as a WhatsApp group only. We were 15 at the beginning, and it grew very, very fast. And now we will organize ourselves and be more organized with bands and how we work and how we can scale and these things.
That's crazy. Absolutely amazing story. I love it because it also shows the combination of you as an entrepreneur, as a real startupper who makes it mean and lean without thinking of branding, website, marketing, just in WhatsApp, just immediately 60 investors in one group and doing instead of talking. And then your investment approach, so with the long-term strategy. This is really cool example. What did you reach so far in this group? I mean, recognition, yeah, definitely. The coverage is amazing. I've noticed that a lot of media was talking about this and still talking in Spain and in Europe. What about particular steps?
Okay, the good thing is the change of mindset of these people coming from traditional side. These women are completely keen to work with the startups, not only to invest, but to see what's happening there. So we are closing this gap. The other thing, we are about to close the second investment here. And what I want to point is that when first we said we will invest only on the teams that have at least one women founder, people told us, oh, you will not find deal flow. We said, okay, if you are right, maybe we change our criteria, but let's try it. And we have found so much deal flow, so good projects. That's amazing. And one thing we wanted to change as well, also because our money capacity, but also we wanted to change is that at the beginning, it's where women or entrepreneurs at the end need more help. And that's where we can really help, because we not only put money, which is not a big stake that we put, but also we put time. We have women from different sectors, from different functionalities. And what we do is to try to mentor and help at that moment where the team is so small that they have to do everything and they don't know everything. They need hands. So we really want to help there to go so they can go to the next step. Because what we have to try with women entrepreneurs, I told you there are so many, it's that they go to next step. Because where there are really missing women entrepreneurs is like in the ones of companies established, startups in Series B, there are very, very few. But then you have to help at the beginning so they don't fail and they keep going.
So this is here we speak about smart money. You provide acceleration support in addition to money.
Yeah, that's right.
And you focus only on Spanish startups, or you look broader?
We started the first time as we were a startup at the end with the MVP, and we said to anyone, and we realized that the help you can do on the pre-seed stage, it has to be close. So we decided to focus in local. We are and see how it works. We see it works. So now we have to organize ourselves. And then once we are organized, what we would like to do is to replicate maybe in other cities with the same scheme, but with people that are local and invest locally, because it's the way you can help more, you have more contacts, you can make better introductions, and you know more the market and how everything works.
We make these videos in order to dilute geographical and administrative borders and to help you get closer to international investors, venture capitalists, market experts, and startup hubs, irrespective of what country or part of the world you are based in. And we need your support. If you like this video, please don't forget to put like button, to subscribe to our channel, and if you find it useful, I will appreciate if you share it with your teammates, co-founders, or social media networks. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.
And did you think over, for example, pitching this idea to the big investors and raising the venture fund, for example, or raising it from public money? Because in Europe, there are a lot of money available for gender influential initiatives.
That's a good question, because it's a question we have done ourselves, and what we said is step by step. Now we are on 2020, let's organize, let's decide, and on 2021 we will decide next step.
So probably we will expect in the next few years maybe new rising fund focused on female entrepreneurs and startups.
Let's see, we don't know. It's step by step. We are a lean startup.
And how about international activities? I mean, I'm fascinating to see how this topic actually evolves and develops in Spain. And this is really special. I observed and quite aware of what is happening in Switzerland, in Germany, in a few other countries in Europe. I don't know deeply what is going on in the US. Maybe that's the question to ask some people from there. But Spain, on my personal opinion, differs a lot, because it seems to be more advanced, more open-minded, and more doing instead of talking on this topic. So how do you feel? Is this feeling true, and why is it so?
I really know Spain. I don't know so much the rest of Europe. I know some initiatives. I mean, there are initiatives in Europe. I've gone to Brussels to the European Commission when they brought like people from women from all Europe to explain the initiatives that we were doing and how we would together make a change. So everywhere there are initiatives. But then I can tell you, because it's the one I know deeper in Spain, is that in Spain, what we do is we don't wait for the public institutions to do it. We really like, if we have an idea, let's do it. So there are a lot of private initiatives of women moving. We really want the change, and we said, okay, we want the change, let's make it happen, and let's make it ourselves. And suddenly we found that there were so many women doing things, and we start to connect ourselves, and suddenly one new initiative launched, and you jump, and the network at the end, we know each other. We really know each other. So when one launches one thing, we are all like behind, supporting and helping. And at the end, that I think that's why it happens. We just try and let's see what happens. And people start. We are really people of associations, which is good and bad, because good, it's when we want, we group together. Bad, because there are so many. And one together will be stronger, but each one is specialized in one thing, which is also good. So each one focus on one niche.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think this current situation, so all the world is influenced right now by the situation in the US, and all the world started from shouting Black Lives Matter into discussing various of questions about inequality, and not only race inequality, but also gender inequality. And I observed that in many Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, in business circles, they start discussing the topic of women, inspiring women leadership more specifically, more focused. They raise the questions on how to change, for example, the standard CVs in order to remove the photos or the information about family status, in order to remove the bias of the employers when they make first check of the CVs. How do you think all these raising waves around these topics will help us, like the quarantine helped us actually to move forward with the technological adoption, and maybe reduce the time of the adoption of new technologies from 15 years to 5 years. So will also the current situation influence the women leadership?
Of course, I mean, noise makes influence. That's for sure. So anything where we raise the voice and we put some problems, some issues, some concern over the table and people talk about it will help advance. But it's not the only way. That's the first step. Okay, we have the problem. Everyone is aware. Second step, we have to have the people that were not aware of that, or that it was like, this is not my problem, jump to it and believe on it. And how you can do it? It's like, I will not say it's a matter of influence or reputation. It's like, okay, that was the problem, and suddenly some people make initiatives to solve this problem or to change how it was. And these people have noise, have good reputation, are the ones that are leading. So the others that doesn't believe want to have the same recognition. And even they don't believe, they jump and they do the same because they are forced, otherwise they are left behind. And that's, so it's like a trend that we have to push. And when it starts, we cannot let them stop. We have to keep pushing initiative, make people feel like more well recognized, so the other ones can jump and be there because they are forced to. And this is the only way. We have to change the ways they're doing. Okay, it's not the only way. The other way is having leaders that really understand about people and not about race, not about gender, that they really think that people, each one have one talent, and that together we can make things better. I also believe that corporations are not isolated anymore. They have to become and belong to an ecosystem, and they have to collaborate. Things like where before, no anymore. It will disappear. Now we work in a society where we have to work together, and companies have to work together with other companies, have to belong to ecosystems, have to interact. And that's where startups and corporates have to interact to create a new future. It's not only the startups, not only the corporates. Let's do it together because we will have the best of two worlds. So it's about leadership at the end. That's one option, and the other is forcing because they don't want to be left behind.
I fully agree with you, but how do you think, do corporations themselves understand this trend, or they still think that the world belongs to them and they don't have to adapt to the changing environment and learn how to communicate with the startups?
Okay, so also the harsh situation we have lived with the COVID, and there are many families suffering both for health or for economic situation. The good thing about the COVID situation is that the wolf is coming. They have seen it. I mean, they are not fast enough, they are not innovative enough, and they don't adapt to the market enough. and now they have seen the ones that they have seen that there is this wolf coming, they will be able to change and to start interacting, connecting, and making synergies. The ones that say, okay, that was momentary, maybe they will not exist in the years.
So when you talk with representatives of the corporate sector, you see these changes already after the COVID pandemic.
Yes. Not everyone. I mean, there's still people that thinks that no, and you say, really? But there are others saying, oh my God, here we have a problem. If we don't change, sometimes what they say, we have to change, but we don't know how. No problem. There are solutions to guide you. But at least they see they really have to change, and they want to start moving. But you have to think that corporations are slow because of how they work, they operate, and changing that, it takes us. But as I said before, first be aware, then take action. And now they are aware, and the ones that will take action, slower or faster, doesn't matter, but that take action, they will survive. The ones that doesn't take action, probably they will not exist in some years.
That sounds really great. I love that this is one more positive sign of the pandemic. Definitely it was horrible situation with the COVID, but we should try to find positive things in everything which happens, and this is one of them. Corporates turning their face towards the technological and startup world. Speaking about leadership, can you remind some examples from the startup or tech world, some examples of great startup unicorns or successful entrepreneurs led by women?
By women. Okay, you have Aina Tin from Berlin, from Club. I mean, she has really been the sponsor for the femtech startups. So there are so many. What I see is when there's a woman really leading this change and really achieving, press is there to see when is she going to fail. And that's what we have to change. I mean, of course, there are women that fail and women that don't fail. And there are men that fail and men that doesn't fail. But why we are focusing only on the failures of women? Because there are less, and because of all the society is looking to women, now we have to look if they do well. And it seems that we cannot fail. And we are humans as anyone, and we have the right to do it well or to fail. It doesn't matter. Trying, it's already a success because we are there. But not only for women, for men also, trying to change, trying to make something different. So there are not as much as men. And the problem is there's a focus, and the small mistake they make, it gets bigger because of the press. And we should try to care more about these women that have arrived where they have arrived, take care of them, and if they fail, understand what are the learnings and try that they become a role model instead of someone that you don't have to look at.
Yeah, and a failure is also an experience, very actually precious experience, which also costs a lot. So every entrepreneur should remember that. One of my friends among VC investors, serial investors, he told me that, for example, if he will get the equal startups on the equal stage and traction level and everything, but one led by men and another one led by women, he will tend to choose the one led by female, because with all the other aspects equal, for him it will mean that a woman during the development of her startup, she overcame more barriers, more difficulties, more challenges than a man had done, and she will struggle for his money with more passion to drive it to success. Do you believe that this this position, this opinion has a lot to do with the real realities.
I think it's true that the challenge that the women has to overcome, usually, of course, there are exceptions everywhere, but usually it takes harder for a woman to arrive to the same point. But it's true also that it's really, really difficult that you have one man and one woman with exactly the same, and you have to choose. And we know that. At the end, there's the feeling, the empathy, especially if you are at the beginning of the stages of a startup. It's the feeling and the trust that this person is giving to you. But it's true that usually a women entrepreneur will be more cautious about the money, and it tends to spend less than a man entrepreneur. But it's not better or worse, it's just a way of doing.
Yeah, even in the families, usually, traditionally, men earn money and women take care of not to spend them too fast and to do economy of the family. But speaking about the differences, I believe that the best way to influence this adoption of women talent in the startups and venture capitals is actually to demonstrate the advantages of having a woman in the team. And for example, for those startup entrepreneurs who will watch our video now, what will you feature as the main advantages of women character? Of course, it depends on the background, experience, education, knowledge, etc., and role in the company. But just to understand that this is really important to have diverse teams in your startup. And when you are looking for co-founder, when you are looking for team members, it is important also to look for women as well as men, entrepreneurs and team members. Can you please feature some specifics of the character which can bring additional value to the startup team?
Of course, first I would say that it also works the other way around. There are a lot of women, female-led startups being born late days. And what I tell to them is bring one man to the team also, because we think different. I mean, we need diversity on thinking. And the thing is, we need think different. Women are more collaborative, looking more for the impact, more cautious. We have the ambition, but we just want to have everything under control. We are more empathetic. And that are skills that really are very good for building a team, building a culture. But we also have men that are more ambitious. No, it's showing the ambition more. They don't do turnarounds to say something. They can be more straight, which might feel not so well for women, but sometimes you need someone that tells you things like they are. And we will do it as well, but we will do it in another way. And having different ways, different characters, different ways of thinking. The way of thinking is completely different. So it's not that we are better or worse, we are different. So if you have 2 options or you have 10, what do you prefer? Having 10. If you have a diverse team, you will have 10. If you have an homogeneous team, you will have 2. So you will be missing things to look at just because you don't have the right difference in the team, the right balance. Because balance, it's also, I would extrapolate the comparison, like when there are a group of entrepreneurs and they come 3 entrepreneurs, they have done the MBA together, they are all specialized in marketing, and they want to build a company. Okay, we have a problem. I don't care if they are women and men, even if they are mixed 2 men or 1 woman or whatever. They are 3 people with the same background doing the same. And I mean, that's not diverse either. So diversity, it's just a mix of complexity, background, race, way of thinking, culture, gender. That's really diversity. So when you are building a team, look for that. And of course, we women and men, we are different. And thanks God we are different. It will be really boring that we were all the same. And just take advantage of this difference of this diversity, and let's make things bigger.
Oh, that's exactly the golden seed, the main idea. Guys, if you are watching this video now, please keep in mind what Helena just told you, that it's not about actually the balance 50-50, it's about the diversity and the difference, which makes your team stronger. And we felt it ourselves on Innmind when 5 years ago it was born as by female founders. And during the first 3 years, I think our team unconsciously consisted most of the women only. There were women in the founding team and women in the team, and we didn't even think it over. It was organically developed like that. And then when we got men in our team, we felt that by numbers proved it. The company began to grow 3 times faster, because indeed we matched different mentalities, different approach, different strategies, vision, and this is such a huge advantage to have a diverse team. So yeah, Helena, this is the best thing to remember. The diversity is the real strength and muscles of any business.
Yeah, completely agree.
Before finalizing this interview, I wish we could continue more, but the time is limited. Can you please give a few advice to women entrepreneurs who want to succeed in the tech or men's world, and some advice on how to actually be more recognized, not by gender or shouting out about diversity, but by her skills? Because you mentioned that women are more shy, they do less network, they less expose their big plans. So can you please give few practical advice how to become more complementing to the men's business?
Yeah, I would say first, we have to believe more on ourselves. And there are a lot of times that the press people contact us and says, I would love you to talk about whatever. And you say, that's 90% what I do, but 10% no. It's better that I don't go. Go and talk about what you know, because you really are good on what you are doing. And just express, don't be scared. And if you fail, doesn't matter, people will forget. Just try, go there. If you have the opportunity to be visible, be visible. That's a responsibility we have, all our generation, to make a changes now. If we just make a step back, we are making a really bad favor to next generation that's coming. So we have the responsibility. If someone comes to you to be visible, just say yes, and then look how to do it. Doesn't matter. I'm sure you will be shining and you will do great. That's the first thing. And the other is, when you feel, I mentor some women entrepreneurs as well, and sometimes they tell me, wow, I'm not prepared for the next stage. Really? Okay, let's look at what you have done so far. And when you see what they have done so far, I ask them, when you started, were you prepared to do all what you have done? They said no. So it's not that you are not prepared. It's that only that you have not done it before, but it doesn't mean you are not prepared for that. So believe more on your energy and your skills, on how powerful you are. And if you have a mission, you have a vision, just follow it. You will take your energy out. So go for it and never say no.
Amazing, inspiring pitch, Helena. Thank you so much. We should transcript it and put it in the text. And actually, if you recommend us some women entrepreneurs or women investors, we will gladly also put on the description of this interview some links to feature other women who are in this industry. And
I will share you a list, a long list.
Yeah, that would be great. So we can also spread the word, and as you mentioned, bring more recognition. As you said, when you raise the voice, it becomes more efficient. So that's amazing slogan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this interview and your insights, your experience, your passion, and your inspiration. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you to you, Nelly. I've been so happy and looking forward to stay in contact and to do more things for women entrepreneurs and women investors.
I'm sure, as you said, we rock.
We rock. Thank you.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video, not only with the women tech entrepreneurs, which you know, but also with men, because as we said, the balance takes it all. And when you combine different personalities and different genders in one team, that is the secret mixture, which makes it really brilliant. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay in touch.